Alright, today I am talking about Ultimate Fantastic Four Volume 8, Devils. This collects issues 39 through 41 of Ultimate Fantastic Four and Annual 2. This is written by Mike Carey. The Annual has art by Pascal Ferry and Stuart Immonen. I already talked about the Annual whenever I did one of the Ultimate Annual collections a little while back. Issues 39 through 41. Scott Collins, Mark Brooks, and Jamie Mendoza did the art there. So I'll mostly be talking about these three issues here. Basically, there is this alchemist from like the 1100s in Italy, and he kidnaps various loved ones of the Fantastic Four. Dr. Storm, Johnny Storm's girlfriend, then Reed's younger sister, and Ben's mom. He kidnaps them and then sends a message to the future saying, hey, if you want your loved ones, come back to the past and get them. And this is the ultimate version of Diablo, who I confess is probably my least favorite villain for the Fantastic Four. I've always felt he looks a little court jestery, and I think what's so disappointing about Diablo is he has the potential to be really interesting. Someone who is 900 years old should be more interesting and more of a threat than this guy. I feel like him being a man of science, albeit a very outdated mode of science, that should be where you focus on him and have him be kind of a foil to Reed Richards. And this story does do that for about one page, where Diablo here kind of tells Reed, look, we're both men of science, but there is a difference between us. I just wish that it had done a little bit more with that. At the very beginning of the story, we have Reed kind of obsessing over trying to build a new version of the Cosmic Cube. In the previous volume, one of the aliens that he met put this idea of the Cosmic Cube in his head, and he has been trying to build it, and Dr. Storm is even saying, look, this is important, you say that it's important, but you haven't told us why it's important. Maybe you should work on some of your other projects. So we see that Reed's obsession with science is pushing him into obsessive territory where his loved ones are saying, you know, maybe you shouldn't be that obsessed with this thing. So maybe they could have done something there. I'm not really sure what they could have done. But overall, I thought this story was fine. I do think it's a little bit of a step down in terms of scope from we had a gigantic cosmic war with Thanos in the previous volume, and now we have a time travel story with Diablo. And I probably sound a little bit like a hypocrite. I have talked before about how the MCU wants to keep scaling up and getting bigger and bigger when eventually they are going to burn themselves out if they keep at that pace. And here I'm kind of complaining that this story is a step down in terms of scope from the previous one. But I don't think that necessarily whenever you are doing something huge, I don't think that the solution is next we need to do something smaller. I think you just need to do something different. And this story does have a time travel element, and the loved ones of the Fantastic Four are at risk, but I just don't feel like we get enough time to really focus on how big of a deal this story could have been. Reed does talk about, like, we don't need to make any ripples when we go back in time, but then we don't really get to see any of that in action, that threat of that happening. We don't get to see any of that. At one point, Diablo is sending energy to burn the present day so that he can become immortal, and then we don't really get to see a whole lot of that. It seems like this story is just kind of rushing through the beats so that it can get to the end, which again I don't feel like I can be pleased, because when this series does a 6-issue storyline, I complain that it's too long, and then when it does a 3-issue storyline, I complain that it's not long enough. But I just felt like this story could have been more, and I'm not really sure how it could have been more. I don't know. Just focus more on that link between Diablo and Reed Richards maybe, but even then I'm not really sure. The story felt fine, but I wish that it could have been really amazing. So those are my thoughts on Devils, Ultimate Fantastic Four Volume 8. Not a whole lot to say about this one. At the very end of the book, Ben, he was destroyed at one point, and then they used the elixir to revive him, but then he's blue. And I went ahead and peeked at Volume 9. He's not blue in that volume, so I don't know if they're going to reference, hey, he turned orange again. I don't know, but that was something weird. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts here. I hope you guys like this video, and I will be back in the future to talk about something else. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Catch you later.